to continue on with our BB King inspired lesson. And in this section, we are going to take a look at some minor inspired lick vocabulary. We're going to give you several examples of some licks that you can bring into your own playing. These are going to pair really well with our G minor blues jam track that we're including here. So all of the licks that we're going to use in this portion of the lesson are all based around G minor pentatonic and G blues scales. They pair really nicely when you're playing over a G minor track or a minor track in general, such as the one we're using today. And so if you would like to see these scales diagrammed out, a good reference point would be to take a look at the ebook that's included with the lesson. To get access to these sounds, it's really helpful to visualize our minor pentatonic patterns and blues patterns. Check out the ebook that we're including with the lesson, and you'll be able to see visually right in front of you all of the different diagrams, scales, and fretboard positions mapped out to help you along with this lesson. We're in G minor, and we're going to play a lick that starts up here at this G note. Okay, so this phrase is going to involve us playing this note right here, the 8th fret, and we're going to just pick and play up until we get to this 8th fret note on the 1st string. We're going to bend this up a whole step. Okay, from there, we don't want to hear the sound of the bend releasing, so make sure and silence it once you get it up to pitch. Then we're going to come back to the 6th fret on the 1st string. And then we'll give some of that classic BB vibrato at the end of the phrase, like we will with so many of these examples. So all together. Okay, so moving on to our next example, we're going to stay in the same neighborhood. This time we're going to make a pre-bend on the 8th fret of the 1st string. So I'm going to bend this up a whole step to start. I'm going to pick and release it and pull off to the 6th fret. Okay, so what we're doing here, pick, release, pull off to the 6th fret, quick run of 3 notes, and then we vibrato the 8th fret note and punctuate to the 6th. So you can think about this lick in 3 sections. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. And all together. Here we have a little bit of a quicker run. This one sounds really good, classic BB King style, and it works really well. So in this one, we're going to start at the 6th fret of the 1st string, and we're going to pull off to the 3rd. Okay. So here we're just working our way around the scale a little bit. We're going to pull off. Now with your index finger, you're going to catch the 3rd fret and the 3rd fret here. So sometimes I see people want to set all this up at once. And the reason we don't do that is because we hear all those notes ringing together. And we don't want that. We want to hear separation between the notes. So you want to kind of get an index finger roll happening for this one.
Now, keeping in mind that we're going to try to bring our best or do our best to have that kind of vibrato in any way that we can while we're turning our hand, here is a lick that we're going to play. We're going to wiggle it. Classic sound. Again, we're going up. We're stopping. We're hitting that note. We're hitting this note. And we're starting a little simplified before we make our lives more complicated. So as we bend up now a little bit, I want to go back to where I was. So I'm going to go. Now that bend exaggerated in context. We're kind of seeing how if we bend a little bit of everything, we get some sound in there. That's kind of what I want to point out. The space between here and here is really significant because I can I can slide in maybe this way. But they're all going to add to the sound and or the tone. Here's another really cool lick. We're going to do a chromatic and then a hammer, and we get into a phrase that sounds like this. Now we're keeping it very minor in tonality as you see some of these notes go by. That's what I want to say. This is minor in orientation. And sometimes other notes, if we hit them, it's for tension use only. Now, I'm going to pick real flat. I'm going to get used to doing vibrato with my index finger. Just bring in some of these notes on that high string. Now, because it's such a cool track, I can focus on my vibrato, really practice that. Maybe with each finger, that releasing of the thumb. Slowly. And take my time with the dynamic, pick a little softer. Maybe a harder rake. Play less, I get way more in this situation. It's a good example.
Okay, so there we have a few selections of licks in the style of B.B. King. Be sure and try these examples over the jam track and integrate them into your own playing. You can use a lot of this stuff in so many more situations. So we'd encourage you to do that, put your own spin on it, and experiment and enjoy these licks most of all. So